Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
The Athens community is coming together to support dozens of residents who are now displaced after a Sunday fire at Carriage Hill Apartments. Good evening, I'm Sean Neidig.
And I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Thanks for joining us. We're now joined by Clay Benjamin at one of the donation centers to learn more about what people are doing to support people affected by the fire. 2 days after the fire that ravaged through 30 Carriage Hill Apartments, we now know the possible cause of the fire. Clay Benjamin joins us live from Baker Center at Ohio University with more. Clay?
The Ohio Fire Marshal's office. The fire that went through Building 12 of the Carriage Hill Apartments was an electrical fire that started inside the wall of apartment 1213. Building 12 had 30 apartments, and while not all of them were destroyed by the fire, they were all deemed unlivable. In total, 41 people were displaced from their homes. Of the 41 residents, 9 were Ohio University students and 2 were employees of the university. From Facebook pages to GoFundMe accounts, several donation stations have been set up to help the residents displaced by the fire. Behind me on the 5th floor in the 1804 lounge of the Baker University Center, the Athens Red Cross set up one of their 2 donation centers where students and residents can help those affected by the fire. The other station is located at the Wolf Tavern in Athens. In the Wolf Tree Creative, in Athens. Reporting from Newswatch at noon. Newswatch, I'm Clay Benjamin.
Thanks, Clay. For more information on where you can offer help to the families affected, check out woub.org. An unsolved murder from 1991 has been solved thanks to a DNA match and a further review of the suspect's background. The Licking County Sheriff's Department arrested Gustav Saparas and is holding him on a preliminary charge of murder for the killing of Benita Parker. The DNA match was made in 2009. Saparas will be surrendered to Licking County and the case will be taken to a grand jury.
Ohio University faculty members are asking that Ohio English professor Andrew Escobedo be fired. The professor is accused of sexually harassing 2 students. Ohio Provost Pam Benoit sent a letter to interim University President David Duskutner asking him to consider firing Escobedo. Escobedo has tenure, and before he can be fired, the detenuring process must occur. He's been on paid administrative leave since March 2016. Protesters at a rally of more than 150 people at Ellis Hall also want Escobedo fired. Have you ever had trouble finding parking on the street in Athens? It's a common problem for drivers not only uptown, but around the city. A new rule could make things a little easier, though. Newswatch reporter Rachel Cherry has more.
In some Athens neighborhoods, it's hard to find parking spots. And for a few households, there's no off-street parking. This has caused congestion on streets. Athens currently has a 24-hour rule to stop people from hogging the limited spots. Car owners must move their car to another spot within 24 hours. But a proposed pilot program would change the 24-hour rule to 72 hours for permit holders on certain streets. Resident Joanne Kranansky has worked to come up with the plan.
This is one of the issues that came up for many people, was this, particularly on the close-in north and west side, the parking problem. And people having to move their vehicle every 24 hours, regardless of what their condition was or what the weather was, or et cetera, et cetera.
The city's goal is to maintain the attractiveness, livability, and convenience of close-in neighborhoods.
The biggest issue at this point is we do want to, again, encourage people to live in a sustainable way. And if you can walk to work and you can live in some of these neighborhoods and are willing to invest in the neighborhood, we want to encourage that. And we want to encourage people to stay in their neighborhood.
Permit holders will still be held accountable for parking in a spot too long.
Even if I have a permit and several other people in my street have their permits, there's still other people that'll park and maybe stay for way too long.
Violation of the 72 hours restriction will result in a $20 parking ticket.
The permits will be good for 1 year and will have an application fee. Households with no off-street parking will be eligible for 2 spots, and households with 1 off-street spot can apply for 1 permit. However, the permits will not guarantee a parking spot it will just exempt the approved vehicles from the 24-hour limit.
How's it going? I'm Josh Gregory with a little look at weather in Southeast Ohio. And as many of you know, today is the day you don't want to be outside. We're sitting at 56 degrees right now, and that temperature is just going to keep climbing in Athens. But as that keeps climbing, we are going to experience more and more rainfall tonight. In addition to that, we've got 7-mile-per-hour winds coming in from the north, and with higher temperatures and more rain, we can expect to see that humidity increase, so it feels a little sticky, soggy outside, just not a good day to be outside. And that's a trend that will continue throughout the area. 56 in Athens, as well as New Lexington, Newark, and Jackson. And as we get into central Ohio, Columbus, 57, and in West Virginia, Ripley, 60 degrees. And it's just everywhere. That rain is just going to keep coming down harder, and everywhere has experienced that heavy rainfall and those higher temperatures. And like I said, temperatures are going to increase 59 degrees tonight with heavier rainfalls. We can expect to see a few thunderstorms coming in tonight and definitely tomorrow. Pretty mild evening as far as the temperature goes and wind speeds. That's all I got right now. Mackenzie, I'll throw it back to you.
Thanks, Josh. High school juniors in Ohio will no longer have to wake up early on Saturday mornings to take the ACT or SAT. This spring is the first in which school districts statewide are required to give the ACT or SAT to all juniors at their current schools, whether they are college-bound or not. Students will not have to pay the $45 for the SAT or $43 for the ACT. The state will be picking up the $5 million plus tab for the students to take the test. If you live in Kentucky or have a Kentucky ID, you may no longer be able to fly. Kentucky driver's licenses currently do not comply with new federal guidelines, but lawmakers were scheduled to debate a bill today that will update the licenses. Federal officials say if the bill is not passed, Kentuckians will no longer be able to use their license to board domestic flights.
Ohio Secretary of State John Huston's office says hundreds of non-U.S. citizens are registered to vote in the state, and more than 100 illegally voted in recent Ohio elections. Since 2013, Huston's office has identified over 800 non-citizens registered to vote in Ohio. More than 100 of them have cast ballots. Those cases are being referred to law enforcement for further investigation and possible prosecution.
These are the facts, and we do this to try to help put them out there so people can really understand the scope, which I like to describe as voter fraud among non-citizens exists. It's rare, we hold people accountable, and we have ideas on how we can improve the system.
President Trump stayed busy today while signing several executive orders and bills. What new initiatives is Trump backing?
And President Trump will deliver his first address to a joint Congress tonight at 9. What can we expect from his first across-the-aisle address? These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Eric II, the host of Hardwood Heroes. You should watch our program Sundays at 11 o'clock p.m. Any important and relevant information you need about Southeast Ohio high school basketball, we have. During the week, keep up with our online content at woub.org/heroes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Heroes. You can follow your boy as well at junior_3. As always, I'm Eric II, reminding you to be heroic.
President Trump is set to deliver his first speech to a joint session of Congress in a few hours. This comes as Hill Republicans seek reassurance that the White House will address some top priorities. Karen Kafa is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
Hi, Donald John Trump.
40 days after his swearing in, President Trump heads back to Capitol Hill, an opportunity to convince Congress and the American people he's on the right track, even amid low approval ratings.
He needs to move the tone more towards pulling together on common areas. That's what legislation is about.
The president is expected to highlight campaign promises kept so far, pulling out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Agreement and movement on job creation. But these actions have mostly been taken without the congressional cooperation he'll need for looming big agenda items, like repeal and replacement of the Affordable Care Act, a goal stalled amid GOP intra-party squabbles. Hill Republicans will be listening for an embrace of the House GOP plan.
This is a plan that we are all working on together, the House, the Senate, and the White House. So there aren't rival plans here.
The president is also expected to pitch a federal budget that boosts defense and security spending by $54 billion. The plan could put him at odds with both parties. Democrats opposed to cuts in domestic programs to offset that spending, and some Republicans who wanted to see cuts or changes to Medicare and Social Security.
We don't know where the cuts are coming from, but it's hard to see with this magnitude of cuts that, once again, middle-class people, working families are going to be hurt.
White House officials say President Trump will present an optimistic vision to a primetime audience and members of his own party looking for policy points to rally around. On Capitol Hill, I'm Karen Kafa.
President Trump's address begins at 9 p.m. tonight. It will be nationally televised on various networks.
President Trump stayed busy today during the hours leading up to his first address to Congress. He signed an executive order today that will review a rule aimed at protecting small streams and wetlands from development and pollution. The order instructs the EPA to review an Obama-era rule that redefined which bodies of water are protected by the Clean Water Act. Trump says that this is an example of government regulation run amok, but Democrats say that it has protected drinking water for millions.
Clean Waters Act says that the EPA can regulate navigable waters, meaning waters that truly affect interstate commerce. But a few years ago, the EPA decided that navigable waters can mean nearly every puddle or every ditch on a farmer's land or any place else that they decide, right? It was a massive power grab.
This was only one of the executive orders that Trump signed today. A second executive order that he signed will move the Federal Initiative on Historically Black Colleges and Universities, or HBCUs, into the White House Domestic Policy Council. The initiative was formerly housed in the Department of Education during the Obama administration. Trump also signed a pair of bills today that encourage women to join careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. Currently, only 1 in 4 women who have a degree in these areas actually work in the field.
On Wall Street today, stocks varied across the board. Here a look at stocks of local interest. Studies show that sitting at your desk leads to poor health effects, but more recent research shows that that's not always the case. That story's still ahead.
Like I mentioned earlier, temperatures rising, expecting thunderstorms, and later on in the week, we can expect some snow showers. I'll have all of that and more in my extended forecast. Stay tuned.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Josh Gregory here with your extended forecast. 56 degrees is your temperature right now, and those thunderstorms I mentioned earlier, yeah, they're happening right now, and they will continue on throughout the night. Those wind speeds still at 7 miles per hour. Expect them to pick up as well. And that rain trend that we're seeing right now, those thunderstorms, they're happening across our entire area right now, from central Ohio all the way down into West Virginia. And those temperatures, mid to upper 50s, are going to continue to increase. 57 in Columbus and 60 down in Ripley. And looking at our almanac, you can see just how unusual this is. So 57 degrees is your temperature right now, and that's 10 degrees above 47. So we're already starting to see that usual spring heavy rainfall, temperatures increasing. We're starting to see that weather coming right now in late February. And one other thing to mention is make sure that you're keeping an eye. The days are getting longer as we get closer to spring. And here is the culprit for those storm systems. We got that low pressure system meeting that high pressure system in the Midwest, and that's causing a whole bunch of storm systems to happen throughout Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and we're experiencing that right now and into the night. As we see that, it's going to push east, but it'll still be in our area tonight, and we will see that tomorrow as well. Here's a look at what that will look like Wednesday night. Still in our area. It's moving east, but it's still in our area, and that might even continue on into Thursday during the day. So we're going to have a whole lot of rain for the next couple of days. And looking at our temperature tonight, 59 degrees, so it's warming up, but the rain is going to continue to fall, which will cause humidity to go through the roof tomorrow. And we've got mild evening as far as the temperature goes, but the showers, like I said, they will continue. And that's a trend that will continue throughout the entire area. We're going to see our temperatures get into the low 60s, still in the upper 50s, but that rain, those thunderstorms, yeah, they're going to keep coming. And then 66 tomorrow, that's our high. But thunderstorms all day tomorrow, strong thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, and high wind speeds, 15 miles per hour coming in from the southwest, so it's going to feel a little chilly tomorrow. You want to keep that umbrella handy no matter where you are in our area, because like I said, these trends, they're coming in throughout the area because of that storm system over our entire state right now. So we're going to see temperatures rise into the upper 60s and even lower 70s in West Virginia. And you want to know how to plan your day? Here's one word for you: umbrella. You want to have that all day tomorrow. There's not going to be a huge fluctuation in temperatures, but that rainfall is going to be going on all day long. And so looking at our temperature throughout the week, 100% rainfall tonight and 40% tomorrow. So we can still see that tomorrow night, and then it's going to see a cool down in the weekend as the sun starts to show, and that rain will start peaking again next week. And that's all I've got for you.
All right, thanks, Josh. In the past 15 years, sitting has been linked to different health problems such as diabetes. But is there more to it than that? Kim Hutcherson has more in today's Health Minute.
Sitting may be getting a bad rap. A recent study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine took a look at nearly 5,000 public servants in the United Kingdom. The subjects were, on average, in their mid-40s, with no history of diabetes, heart, or circulatory problems. Most claimed to be physically active. Over the course of 13 years, only 402 of the nearly 5,000 workers developed diabetes. The report concluded that the fix for sedentary lifestyles may be more complicated than just eliminating as much sitting as possible. Researchers say more attention needs to be paid to the type of sitting and the context around it. For example, higher status jobs are usually associated with sitting, but those in higher socioeconomic positions are shown to have lower risks of chronic diseases. Meanwhile, heavy TV watching, which involves a lot of sitting, has been linked to issues like unemployment or poorer mental health. The study's authors say before deciding sitting is a risk to your health, you should look at how much exercise you're getting to offset your sedentary spells. A recent review published in The Lancet found 60 to 75 minutes of physical activity a week eliminated the increased risk of death associated with sitting. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
So as long as you maintain an active lifestyle, sitting at work really isn't that bad for you. Thanks, Kim. Now let's go over to Danny for some sports.
I'm Danny Dean, and coming up in sports, I'll have a score update for the Ohio men's basketball game and what to look for heading into the MAC tournament. And the NFL Combine kicked off this afternoon. A few former Bobcats attended and took their next steps in the path to the pros. That's up next on Newswatch. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Eric III, the host of Hardwood Heroes. You should watch our program Sundays at 11 o'clock p.m. Any important and relevant information you need about Southeast Ohio high school basketball, we have. During the week, keep up with our online content at woub.org/heroes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Heroes. You can follow your boy as well at junior_3. As always, I'm Eric III, reminding you to be heroic.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences. They want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Danny Dean. Even though we have rain instead of snow, it's the Bobcat Blizzard tonight in the Convo. Ohio men's basketball takes on the Buffalo Bulls. Tip-off was at 6 p.m. The Bobcats are looking to bounce back after snapping their 4-game win streak over the weekend at Kent State. As of 6:45 tonight, the Bobcats trail 34-31 behind the Bulls. And it's important for the Bobcats to win out their last 2 games before the MAC tournament. Ohio can finish as high as the number 2 seed. Akron has already clinched the number 1 seed. A win over Buffalo tonight will lock in at least a top 4 seed and a first-round bye to the quarterfinals at the Quicken Loans Arena next Thursday. And with the tournament just days away, tonight's a bit of a revenge game for the Bobcats. Last year, the Bulls upset Ohio and knocked them out of the tournament much earlier than they expected. Buffalo also knocked out Ohio women's basketball last year, but tomorrow they host the MAC East rival Bowling Green. Getting the win over BG will give Ohio its 20th win of the regular season. The Bobcats have only racked up 20-plus wins 6 times in program history, but it'll be 3rd straight year the Bobcats have reached that win total. Kiera Lampkins is Ohio's leader, averaging 19.6 points a game, and she's also second on the team in rebounds with 6.8 a game, and she's first on the team with 64 total steals. Bowling Green only has 4 conference wins, but the Falcons are coming off an upset win over Buffalo. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. The 2017 NFL Combine kicked off today, and 2 former Bobcats are in Indianapolis showing off their skills. Over the next few days, defensive end Terrell Basham and linebacker Blair Brown take their next steps to the NFL Draft. Basham was a first-team All-MAC selection and named MAC Defensive Player of the Year. He set single-season and career sack records for the Bobcats and started every game. Basham anchored the 5th best rushing defense this season and competed at the 2017 Reese's Senior Bowl. Brown was named first-team All-MAC after leading the Bobcats with 128 tackles last season. And even though he only has 1 season with strong tackle production, NFL.com praised his anticipation, athleticism, and toughness. With more practice, both Brown and Basham could eventually challenge for playing time in the NFL. Yesterday, Ohio football announced the dates for its upcoming spring practice schedule. Ohio will have 15 practices over 1 month to get ready for next year's season. The practices begin on March 14th. Head coach Frank Solich is back to lead the team. It's his 13th year with the Bobcats. Ohio's coming off a MAC East title along with appearances in the Marathon MAC Conference game and a trip to the Dollar General Bowl. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Milwaukee Bucks 102-95 last night. LeBron James was back after being sidelined from Saturday's game with strep throat. And last night, he didn't miss a beat. He finished with a double-double, 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Kyrie Irving had 25 points and 9 assists. This was the first time since February 1st that the Cavs held their opponent from scoring triple digits. The Cavs hope to carry momentum when they hit the road tomorrow to play the Boston Celtics at 8. And I don't really know a single person who looks like that right after having strep throat, but hey guys, that's why he's the best. I'm Danny Dean, and that's it for sports. Sean McKenzie, back to you.
Thanks, Danny. It's Fat Tuesday, and cities across the country are celebrating the day before Ash Wednesday. In New Orleans, it's Mardi Gras, which is French for Fat Tuesday. The Louisiana city is known for its carnival and Mardi Gras celebrations. From parades to colorful masks and beads, the last day of carnival is full of elaborate costumes and different foods. Now let's send it over to Josh for a final look at weather.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Like I mentioned earlier, we might start to see that snow. So look at those lows, 29 degrees. If it's still raining, that rain's going to turn to snows. But don't worry, it's going to warm up over the weekend, 51 and 60 Saturday and Sunday. And with that, I'm going to throw it back over to you guys.
All right, thanks, Josh. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Mackenzie Pyatt.
Stay tuned for the PPS News Hour coming up next. And remember, you can always find the latest news anytime, WOUB.org. Have a great night, everyone.